Hey, so the point of this video is to go over the 12-3 worksheet that you have hopefully already finished. And so what I want you to do is do the worksheet first, make sure you know how to use your calculator, make sure you're getting the hang of this, and then come back and watch this video just to check your answers and make sure you're on the right track. This worksheet should be, looking at both pages, it should be pretty quick if you know how to use your calculator. And if you don't know how to use your calculator, either go back and watch the last video from 12-3 where I talk about finding A, B, and R, or email me, set up a Zoom meeting, come to my office hours, whatever you want. I am here to help you with your calculators. Okay, so here we have this activity. This will be real quick because we are just in the answers. But what we have here is a chart. We have the CEO pay ratio and the corporate revenue in millions of dollars. And it's asking for the equation of the line of best fit. And so as a reminder, the generic version of that would be y hat equals ax plus b, where a and b are found on your calculator. And then second, it's asking for R, and R is right there on the same screen where you find A and B. So you will have already put the pay ratio in L1, the corporate revenue in L2, type that in, use your calculator, and you will end up with y hat equals negative 9.93x. And then B is going to be pretty big because those corporate revenue numbers are in millions, but they're also in thousands in the list. And so that our B is $44,684.55. Again, this is strictly a calculator exercise. You're putting all the CEO pay ratio in L1, you're putting all the corporate revenue in L2, and then you are using depending on your calculator, you are either using the two variable stats if you have a scientific calculator, or you are using that linear regression AX plus B button if you have a if you have a graphing calculator. So I went through this in detail in the last video on how to use your calculator. If you have any more questions on how to type this in, let me know. And just, I didn't say this at the beginning, but it is written round all answers to 2 decimal places. That's how I knew where to end this. And actually, we're going to cheat a little bit on number 2 because number 2 was such a tiny number. I actually went to 3 decimal places. But here we're talking about money, and money is always going to be, if it doesn't say to the nearest whole number, then it's going to be cut off at 2 decimal places. So we have our 2 values for A, and then for R from the calculator, we got negative 0.09. So what this is telling us is this is not, well, I guess I don't need to say it in the negative way. I can say it in the positive way. This is a weak linear correlation because that R is really close to 0. And so this is very weak. It doesn't ask you that in the question, but I thought it would just be a good recap of what we've been talking about with R's. And so let's see, I have a negative slope. Yeah, that's all that is being asked in this question. This whole worksheet is just really a plug and chug worksheet. Do you know how to use your calculator? Find A, find B, find R. A note to anyone that's using a scientific calculator, there is an R squared feature. It gives you a number. It tells you R squared. Ignore it. We do not talk about R squared in this class, so we're always looking for R. And the question will, when I give the question that says, what is R? Well, that's your clue that we're not asking for R squared, we're asking for R. All right, too fast. Next one, we have our e-commerce in our L1, that's our X's. Put a little X here. And then our brick and mortar will be L2. That will go in the, that's our Y's. It goes in the L2 of this, of your calculator. And so this one, our A was really tiny. And I like to always have at least one non-zero digit. So in this case, I did break the rules on my A I put 0.002, again, going to 3 decimal places. But if I just put 0.000x, that's just 0. Like, what's the point of a 0? And if I rounded that somehow to 1 or 0.1 or 0.01, like that's not really how rounding works. It's too far away. So this case, the best choice was to have that 3 decimal places. And then our B is 17.62. And then for our R, negative 0.68, much stronger than the previous problem, much stronger correlation. So this is closer to -1 than before, than problem 1. So stronger linear correlation happening in this problem because it's much closer to -1. Just as a reminder, I know you probably are watching these videos closer together, but it's been like 2 weeks since I've actually recorded a video. So I just want to remind everybody, because I haven't talked about it for a while. -1, 1, those are the strong points. And then 0 is our weak, strong. And these are, I'm talking about linear correlations. So the weak is in the middle at 0. All right, moving on to number 3 with our pediatrician. If you got the first 2 wrong, go back, try them again, put them in your calculator, and maybe just kind of stop and go redo 3 and 4 just to double check your answers. One common error, and I see this, I think on the scientific calculator, it always just says syntax error no matter what the problem is, but on a graphing calculator, it says like mismatch error or something. And what happens is people will miss a number, and so they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They'll have 10 numbers in the X column, but they'll only have 8 numbers or 9 numbers or whatever in the Y column. And so you need to have the same number of numbers. Also, these are ordered pairs. So if you forget, oops, I accidentally forgot that number, and you match them up like this, you have now messed with the whole problem. You cannot just add, what was that number? 21. You cannot just add the missing number at the bottom, because that now has all of these guys messed up. So if you do have a problem where you missed a number, just use your insert button and go back and insert that. Or you know what? I know some of y'all just like to blow up your calculators. You just delete everything and start all over. That's fine too, but you can use the insert button to insert a missing number into your calculator. All right, so for number 3, line of best fit, Y hat. Remember, Y hat is the predictor line. It's not the actual line for the actual data. It's just the mathematical model that we use to predict the data. That's what the hat is telling us. We have negative 3.99x, lots of negative slopes in this worksheet. And then 21.1, or if you want to go to 2 decimals, 21.10. We're talking about dollars versus calories per ounce. So, 21.1 or 21.10, either way is fine. And then R in this problem is negative 0.34. There's really nothing for me to show you today because this is just a review of your calculator. So that's why we're going pretty fast through this. All right, finally, we have a population versus children in poverty. So we have, type all those numbers into your calculator. Y hat 0.01x plus 9.38. And then R, this is a very strong positive correlation. We have R is 0.93. Again, if you have any questions, where am I? Shoot, we schedule a one-on Zoom and to be just calculator practice, and I want to make sure you have the hang of it before I let you loose on the homework. All right, so I will see you in the next video. It's pretty short too, so no big deal. All right, here we go.